In this video, we're going to go over how to convert the React.createClass style of component into the stateless function component. React 15.5 has deprecated createClass, and React 16 will remove it completely, so it's a good idea to get a jump on this in your own project. Let's get into it. So I've got a simple app here bootstrapped with Create React app, and all I'm doing is rendering a list of static tweets here. But this tweet component is actually using createClass, and so is everything else in this file. So let's go through and see how we change one of these to be a function component. So first things first, tweet will become a function instead of a createClass. So the body of the function will actually just be this return here. And so we can rip out render and its corresponding brace, move this whole thing over. And then we have this prop types thing here, which instead of being a property in the object becomes a property on the function itself. So what we'll do is move that down here. We'll say tweet dot prop types equals this object here. And there we go. So at this point, it should actually work. If I get rid of this here, we'll save, create React app, will refresh, and it doesn't work. Let's see why. So we have a couple warnings. We'll talk about those in a second. Can't read property props if undefined. So the thing that I missed is that I forgot to take out this. So if you've got a component that depends on this.props, props is now passed in as an argument. So we can take props here like this, and this will actually work. But the more common way to write it is to do this destructuring in the arguments themselves. So we'll do tweet here and take out this line, and everything should still work. Now there's this other warning that says accessing prop types via the main React package is deprecated. So to fix this, what we need to do is actually open up terminal, and we'll just yarn add prop types like it says here. And then we'll import prop types up here. And now instead of being React.proptypes, it's just a standalone package. So we'll get rid of React like this. And that should, well, that fixes it for this component. And there's a bunch of other references to prop types down below. So we could actually just find React.proptypes and replace all of them with prop types like this. And then let's see if that gets rid of the warning. Good. So now we've got a bunch more create classes to get through, and I'm going to skip ahead here to one of the more interesting ones. This time component here is interesting because it has this extra property, compute time string, which is a method that we're using inside render. So once this is converted into a function, we won't have this property anymore. So we'll actually have to extract it out into its own function. So let's go through and convert this to start off with, and then we'll circle back for this compute time string thing. So I'm just going to pull it out. And we still want prop types. And here's our function, and we can get rid of everything else. But there's still this issue of compute time string. So it takes the time as a prop. So we'll actually have to pass in time, and this will not depend on this.props anymore. And this will just be a function called compute time string. And then we'll call compute time string. It's not a property on this anymore. It's just a standalone function, but we'll have to pass in the time prop, which we'll get from props. And it's still working. So a more common way to write this might be as we could streamline it a little bit, as const compute time string. We use an arrow function. So it'll take time, and it'll return this return value. And we can delete this, and we can see it's still working. So let's do one more of those. This retweet button has another property style method. So let's just take retweet button paste it in here. And this will be our new function. And prop types. We'll go down here. And let's see, what do we need for props here? We've got props.count. So we're going to need count here. And we're going to need to pass count to here. And then this becomes its own standalone function. Now this is interesting because getCount actually looks an awful lot like a component, right? It's returning some JSX based on its props. So what we could actually do is turn this into a component called count. And it'll take a count. Then we'll remove this .props, and we can actually just render this here instead, count. And we'll just pass the prop that we got in on down. And it's still working, so retweet button has this count like this. So that's how you convert React.createClass components to stateless function components. I hope this was helpful. You can find the link to the example code in the description below, and check out my blog at davesedia.com. And if you enjoyed this, make sure to hit the like button to let me know. Cheers!